A Look at Finance is underwritten by Janney Montgomery Scott, trusted advisors for generations.
Welcome back. It's Thursday, our weekly segment with Janney Montgomery Scott, Stephen Carleton. We didn't see you last week, so it seems like it's been a while. We had the 4th of July off. You weren't here.
What a great weekend, though. Beautiful weather.
Beautiful weather.
Everything was nice.
And you've got a lot to talk about. It seems like our list of things that we're talking about gets longer by the minute as you come up with more and more things. So let's get right into it. Well, let's start with the real estate market. Real estate market is booming across Saratoga County, but you think there may be some trouble ahead because of rising mortgage rates.
There's no doubt about it. There's a lot of headwind that we're working into this. As interest rates go higher, it becomes more and more difficult for new home buyers to afford the homes that they're looking at. The banks require a little bit more money, down payment, and so it's a little bit harder to do. And so we've seen mortgage rates go from that 3.5% all the way up to 4.5%. So it's been a little bit of a headwind. We've heard from the banks, we've heard from some of the real estate agents saying that people are surprised how much more expensive it is to mortgage now. Yeah,
you're looking at a little extra payment. It adds up over time, and you can't get the key in the door because of that extra cost.
Especially first-time home buyers.
Let's take a quick look at the markets over the last week. The markets have been going up in a trend because of some things that Ben Bernanke has said.
You know, it's been a bit of a roller coaster ride, hasn't it? The last couple of weeks we've talked about, you know, is the Fed backing off? Are they keeping it the same? Are they doing it next week, next month, next year? And that uncertainty has been very, very challenging for the market in general. So really what we've seen in the last 12 days is we've seen people kind of relax a little bit with what the Fed has said, and we've seen over a 7% rise in the S&P 500. The market's been on fire the last week or two because I think people are coming to realize that the Fed's not going to be as quick to act as the initial reaction.
All right, let's move on to one more national story, which really has implications here locally, and we'll get into some even more local stories in just a second. We added this one to the list because all the guys here who are paying their student loans, our crew who are paying their student loans, are worried about this. The fact that Stafford loans, the subsidized loans, could be heading for a major increase.
This is big news. Like you said, people locally, there's a lot of colleges in the area, there's a lot of people going back to school to advance their degrees. And so this uncertainty right now, what's going to happen with the Stafford loans, these are subsidized loans that right now are in the low 3% range. Congress just came out with a bill in May. The Senate today is kind of negotiating, but either way this happens, it looks like interest rates are going to go higher for these student loans. Maybe not so much for people that already graduated, but for ones that are going to school now or that are still in school, we could see the interest rates go higher, which is very, very difficult and challenging for families.
Yeah, it's happening now. They're trying to come to some kind of an agreement, right? But no matter what, future students are going to be impacted more than those that have already made their way through.
Yeah, I think both sides are trying to keep things that, once you're grandfathered and once you graduate, I think both sides are trying to keep that status quo. But I think for existing students and new students, I think either bill has the potential to be significantly more cost to student loans.
You know, we keep talking about how important education is to our economic recovery, and we're just making it harder and harder and harder for kids to go to college. I mean, when you're paying $20,000 a year for college, and then your interest on these loans is going to be over 6%, it's just getting ridiculous.
Well, we just talked about the housing market, right? And so these students that are graduating with $100,000 in student loans and these expensive payments, typically in the past, these are the ones that went out and bought their first homes. Now they're putting it off for years because they don't have the money for it. So the government's trying to save some money on the student loan costs, trying to recoup some of the costs for these things. But in the end, is it costing us more in the long run in the general economy? And I think there's a lot of conversation about what this will mean.
All right. Well, let's go to some local stories now. The movie theater in downtown Saratoga Springs. I'm looking forward to this one. The Bowtie Theater, which they're building over on Railroad Place. Sources tell us here at Look News that that's going to be delayed by a little bit. It was supposed to be open in August. It's now been pushed back to September. We have some video of the movie theater. As you can see, they're never going to have that place ready in time. There's no walls up, and once you get the walls up, you got to get the inside fitted.
This is going to be an incredible facility. I mean, they're not holding back at all. When they're done this project, this is going to be state-of-the-art, incredible theater for a town our size. This is going to be exciting, but I think you're right, no doubt about it. It's going to be pushed back a little bit.
It's going to be pushed back a little bit. Earlier this week, we gave information, or we reported that Informs, which is a local company, they're moving into that building. Plum Dandy, which is the the frozen yogurt place on Broadway. They're opening another location. It's a block back, but they obviously, they're going to be selling other things, candy and that type of thing. So this is going to be a great place, and I know you're a fan of the mimosas on a Sunday morning and the movies that they're going to be planning.
I love going. Plum Dandy's great in the summertime, going with friends and grabbing something nice cold, and being able to not have to drive to Clifton Park or Albany to go to a great theater. How fun is this?
I like how you just completely went over the booze reference.
Yes, I tried to do that, yes.
Part of the reason our sources tell us that the movie theater's delayed a little bit is because they're trying to get this bookstore done on Broadway. And the bookstore, which we have some video of as well, sidewalks opened just yesterday on that street, and there's so much activity. The candy store, which is Kilwin's, which is going in next door, they've been working on that. The bookstore, they're feverishly working on getting that done as well, but they need to get that done because the bookstore is also delayed. Yeah,
they've already hired staff there. I mean, they're ready to go, and this is going to be a great bookstore. It's going to be a great centerpiece of downtown Broadway. But it's a little bit delayed, but the fact that they got the sidewalk open, the building looks fantastic. A couple more weeks, and I think it's going to be exciting. I love to go in Sunday morning and check out the books. It's
it was supposed to be open in July. It's going to be open in August.
Yeah, it's not going to be
the bookstore there. Some big news out of Albany this week, which could have a real big impact on Glens Falls. Talk that they're going to spend between $6 and $11 million in upgrades to the Times Union Center in an effort to attract more NCAA tournaments and other things, adding 20,000 square feet to that arena. The reason we're talking about this is that the Glens Falls is a tale of two cities.
Right.
The Glens Falls Civic Center, about to lose its hockey team after this season, its American Hockey League team, and the city have been talking about selling that place because it's just a bucket with a hole when it comes to money.
Well, some people see this as a negative, but I see this, there's a positive spin on this. Albany's going to attract more talent, they're going to bring in more teams, more games, and that makes, I think it's going to draw more interest to Glens Falls. It's a great building, it has a lot of potential. Maybe there's some changes that need to take place, but there's opportunity. The more activity we have in the the Capital District, I think the more chance we can see Glens Falls do something with this building.
Glens Falls could probably just use half of that money and make some upgrades to the Civic Center. I agree the Civic Center is a great venue. It needs a lot of work, though.
Yeah, it's definitely due for an upgrade, but like what Albany's done, I mean, this kind of investment, it could really turn that building around, and there's a lot of great uses they could realize it for.
All right, well, hopefully we will see some changes to the Glens Falls Civic Center. Definitely some changes coming to the Times Union Center. Stephen Carleton from Janney, Montgomery, Scott, covering it all. Movies, student loans, you got it.
A lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. We'll see you next Thursday. Now, to see this segment and all our segments, head to the website, looktvonline.com. That is where we post our weekly Look of Finance.